You know, for the longest time, we on the Haymakers and as fans have talked about nothing but WWE. We hate it, we love it, we want to cancel our subscriptions, we want to praise the fuck out of some people. We have focused so much on WWE that some other promotions haven't been able to get our attention. But now, we actually have something. We have something finally that isn't WWE to talk about on here. We're going to be talking about something that's red hot right now and that people need to be watching right the fuck now. I am, of course, referring to TNA. So now, let's...
Oh, fuck you!
Okay, I can't even keep a straight face with this. Let's talk about Lucha fucking Underground. Greetings, every peoples. This is your cult of personality, Toonkritic Y2K, welcoming you to the first edition of the Haymakers, where we talk about Lucha fucking Underground.
Lucha, 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 lucha. All right, I'd like to tell a story. I heard about Lucha Underground. It was the second episode where they had that three-way match between Phoenix, Drago, and Prince Puma, I believe. And it was that really, really cool one that you were just recently talking about, Zach. And I saw it on the El Rey Network's YouTube channel because they put it up there for free. I watched it, and I was just like, guys, I have something that you need to pay attention to. I put the YouTube channel on, I put the YouTube video on our Skype chat, and you guys were like, okay, I'll pay attention to this later. And I'm like, no, you guys gotta watch it now. And you guys are like, I'll watch it later. I kept up with the product, not really saying much. It wasn't until last week's episode that I told you guys, okay, now that there's a litany of episodes that you can watch, I think you guys should start watching. And Zach was like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'll start watching.
I doubted you, man. I'm sorry. You're the reason that we're doing this right now. I doubted you at first, but I was so fucking wrong.
I think I started watching around the 7th episode or so, and I was just like, oh, fuck, I forgot that good wrestling exists in the world. Oh, my God.
That's basically how I felt, too. Okay, for those who don't know, Lucha Underground is currently airing on the El Rey Network. It is still fresh. It debuted right around Halloween a few months ago. And what they've got so far is really fucking good. What they have is, it is focused, of course, on Lucha Libre, but they have a few things in there that's, different. Calcos, you probably know more about this than me. Yeah, I'll let you, go for this.
All right, so let us go through the entire roster. We have Prince Puma, who is the face of Lucha Underground currently. We have Phoenix and Drago, who are Lucha Libre high flyers. They are Prince Puma, Phoenix, and Drago are your typical Lucha Libres. If you want to look more at Lucha, look at those three. You have your mat technicians, such as Chavo Guerrero and Blue Demon Jr. Those are the guys that constantly run around the mat and are very, very skilled at pulling off minute details that you'll only get if you're paying attention. You have really small guys that are very, very talented. Something like Rey Mysterio, for example. They only have one of that type right now, and that's Mascarita Sagrada, who is a legendary luchador who's been doing this shit for like 15 years. He was in WWE for about 3 months, and then they threw him out because he wasn't Rey Mysterio, and that is a shame because Mascarita Sagrada is awesome. You
remember the junior division, man? Remember when they had that on SmackDown? Fucking like tiny luchador wrestlers and shit. Remember how well that went over? Because I don't.
Yeah, that was that failed, and it's not even the wrestler's fault. It's just the crowd didn't understand it because WWE is dumb. But anyway, you also, to counterbalance all of the Lucha Libre and bring in some of the WWE style that we may be more accustomed to, you have the powerhouses such as Big Rick, Mil Muertes, and recently introduced Cage. Cage is easily going to be their dominant heel from this point out. You have your...
Cage's a scary motherfucker.
Dude,
Oh,
Cage...
and by the way, American audiences might know Big Rick as Ezekiel Jackson.
Correct.
Yeah.
Speaking of American audiences, you have your athletic American show-off. This is basically the Dolph Ziggler of the group, and that Dolph Ziggler happens to be Johnny Mundo, whom most of you may recognize as John fucking Morrison.
Yes. Oh, he gives me hope in this show because he kicks so much ass. He is able to do what he wants. He's not weighed down by stupid shit. He is John fucking Morrison, and here's to fucking rock the show. Sorry, I really like John Morrison.
And the best part is he hasn't lost a step since his time in the WWE. He's still jumping off of fucking everything and doing all kinds of cool parkour shit. And I love it.
It's the coolest shit. And then, before I go on to the female wrestlers, because that's a topic in and of itself, I have to mention something that may turn off a lot of people initially, but I highly recommend you bear with it because you might not understand it the first time you see it. I of course am talking about Pimpinella talking about Pimpinella Escarlata. Okay, so Pimpinella Escarlata. For those that aren't familiar, what he represents is a Mexican luchador tradition of exotico wrestlers. The exotico is basically a man that dresses in drag or a gay wrestler, and they have been showcased throughout wrestling history for decades as a means of subverting traditional Mexican conceptions of masculinity. This is very, very progressive. This is a very big deal with wrestling, especially if you're accustomed to the WWE style of Vince McMahon being a giant bigoted conservative and insulting anything that isn't white and on steroids. What Vince McMahon would do with this kind of character would exploit it for transphobic or homophobic laughs. But
see Vito.
Dude, Vito was really good wrestler. I'm very, very upset at what they did with him. Anyway, Pimpinella is always celebrated as someone that likes freedom, loves freedom of expression, really, really enjoys life, and Matt Striker is always very, very quick to emphasize how much they love Pimpinella's lust for life and very unique style, and how this is a celebration. This is why Pimpinella is a face. McMahon would have made this person a heel.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of what they did with like Orlando Jordan in TNA that one time. I think it was Orlando Jordan. The whole, what was it? I don't know how to describe it in words. The whole Lady Gaga tape around the thing. Yeah, people know what I'm talking about. Hopefully,
yeah,
like
I can't remember.
Picture or something. Here.
I do remember TNA doing something like this, but Lucha did it first.
Yeah,
Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it.
Lucha did it.
But yes, that is the roster in a nutshell. And of course, most recently added to the roster is Alberto Del Patron, whom you may recognize as Alberto Del Rio.
Man, Alberto Del Rio is going to show up here and he's going to fuck some shit up. I know it.
I mentioned this to you guys, but for the longest time, I wasn't on board with Del Rio. But ever since he's left the company, I've just been like seeing more and more interviews with him and stuff. And it's just... he's all right. I would kind of like him back at some point, but him being in Lucha Underground makes perfect sense, and it should be awesome.
Oh man, you should look at him in Ring of Honor. He looks so pumped up and happy to be there. I'm pretty certain him working in WWE was hell, even during his push.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if anybody has mentioned this, but do you guys know who one of the executive producers of this is?
Oh God, I know exactly what you're going to talk about, but I forget the name. Go ahead.
Robert fucking Rodriguez!
Oh, that's right! Shit, I forgot.
The guy who did fucking Machete and Sin City and fucking Planet Terror and all those other awesome freaking movies, and holy shit! Robert Rodriguez is doing wrestling!
Yeah, to be fair, also, he did, like, fucking Spy Kids, but nobody talks about that.
Yeah. Spy Kids was not bad. Okay?
No, I'm not saying Spy Kids was bad. No, dude, I love Spy Kids.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he owns the El Rey network. So, I guess
I feel bad for him.
To see him create this, though, is really cool, I think. Especially with the whole... the concept itself is good, but what I love most about this is the local feel and how small the crowd is and how it really feels like, an underground fighting club. The crowd is really into it. If they boo, you will fucking hear it. If they cheer, you will cheer. You will hear it. There's no editing here. You can tell that they are very excited to watch this, and I am hyped as fuck to watch it too.
No, there is editing when it needs to be edited, but the crowd is very clearly hyped for just about anything. The only editing that is there is simply for time reasons. That's the only time they'll ever edit the crowd. But the cheers are always different. They have different rhythms and cadences, and so that's how you know that it's not at all piped in. Because a SmackDown pipe-in cheer is very different from a Lucha Underground cheer.
Yeah, and going to mention something, but
the telenovela style, mention that.
Oh yeah, the telenovela style. Okay, so it basically plays out like this sort of crime drama, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's at the start of the show, it cuts to a shot of the guy who basically runs the place, Dario Cueto, and he's trying to get the main face of the company, Prince Puma, he's trying to take away his championship. It's kind of an authority angle, but they're making it work. It works pretty well in Lucha Underground just because the people in it are more believable actors. Is Dario Cueto a in-ring performer at all?
No, he doesn't perform in ring at all. Same thing with Conan.
So he's strictly an actor. So by that, he actually has some acting chops, so he's good at it.
Yeah, shit, he sold that punch he got from do I say Mundo or Morrison? I'm just gonna say Mundo. He sold Mundo's punch pretty well. One punch, bam, out like a fucking light. I love that though. There's a really unique cinema feel to it too, with their promos and whatnot. And I think that's something that WWE is lacking, because when you see these kind of promos, you see it is really out of like a telenovela, and that's really cool. I love, like, you know, even the slow motion is really cool, I think. But it's just like the dark underground locker room, or like the hallway, or just everything's like nice and dark. There's no bright shit going on here. It is nice and dark and grungy and underground, and it really sets the tone for the show, I think.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say, and it kind of ties into what you just said. It kind of has an old school EC dub vibe to it. Like, it feels like we're watching something that shouldn't be. Like, something that is not the norm of what you'd expect from a professional wrestling outfit, but they are just making it work, and they're innovating in such cool ways. And like the female wrestlers, I almost called them divas, and I apologize for that, but they are not divas. They are female freaking wrestlers.
Evilise and Sexy Star.
The cool thing about the female wrestlers is that they don't just fight other female wrestlers. There are no divisions in Lucha Underground. The men fight the women. The women fight the men. The little people fight the big people. Like, everybody is just in one group, and everybody is in line for the Lucha Underground Championship.
You want to know what's cool about that, though? In WWE, if you saw this, you would know it would be a squash match. There would be no way that, like, a woman fighting a guy, not gonna happen, woman's gonna lose. But here, it looks believable, because these ladies know how to wrestle. They can pull off a great fucking head scissors. And they are great at wrestling just in general. But when they fight, when the little guy fights the big guy, when the woman fights the dude, it is believable. It's actually pretty cool to see how, you know, the women fare against the men. But it's still interesting to see. There's variety here, and that's really cool.
There was one moment on there where Chavo Guerrero was handing out chair shots to everybody in sight. By the way, they're actually doing real chair shots. Like, it's actually chair bonk off the cranium. And he was giving out chair shots, and Sexy Star was in the ring at the time, and everybody was just like, Sexy Star's not going to get one. Boom! Right in her head, and it was just like, holy shit, Chavo! What?
I typed that, like, in the Skype chat to, like, Calcos and Nicky, and I'm just like, holy shit, they actually did it. Okay, I'm watching more of this. Clearly, they have massive balls of steel. Now, I only say that because I haven't really seen, like, anything outside of, like, Lucha Underground, and that's only because it's really hard for me to find, like, indies wrestling. I know they probably do this all the time, but to me, seeing that for the first time, is really a holy shit moment, by the way. The audience loves chanting holy shit.
By the way, they have Chavo Guerrero, and it's the best Chavo Guerrero that they've had that any company has had in a very long time.
Personality? In my Chavo Guerrero? It's more likely than you think. Old memes.
Like, even back when Chavo was with the Familia and was the ECW champion, and he was kind of sort of over. It feels more real here because it feels like he's got not only some personality, but some power. It feels like he's actually allowed to get away with stuff, and he's just letting loose. This is why you're starting to see a bunch of people from the WWE emigrate over to Lucha. Guys like Morrison and Ezekiel Jackson and Chavo and soon to be Alberto and maybe Justin Gabriel somewhere down the road. You never know. Because the Lucha Underground seems to have a much more relaxed feel among its wrestlers. Almost called them superstars, god damn it. But it feels like they are allowed to get away with more. They have more creative freedom, and they're just allowed to have fun wrestling. How about that for a novel fucking concept?
Yeah. Also, the show is only about an hour long, but damn, do they put in as much as they can for an hour. It's like maybe about 3 matches, and that's really good. I enjoy 1 hour of Lucha Underground as opposed to 3 hours of Raw or 2 hours of SmackDown. It, as Calcos, but it doesn't overexpose itself. It feels like, it crams in just the right amount. And you feel that there's a diverse enough roster that nobody is really getting forgotten because they'll probably just show up in the next episode or something. There's always a chance for another wrestler to get some decent exposure, whether it's in a multi-man match or, by the way, there was a 10-person match in this and it went over very well twice on the same night. And of course, with their Aztec Warfare thing, which is basically just the Royal Rumble, but with 20 guys and pinfall only rules, which I think is the Rumble should be. If you can, anybody can throw anybody over the top rope. Seriously, that's not even that hard. You can be a chicken shit and somehow manage to do that to at least one person. But with Aztec Warfare, it's more believable. And I keep saying believable because that's the one word that I feel can sum up a lot of Lucha Underground's tone and atmosphere. And that's something you don't get now in WWE. You may get that like back in the day, but here it's genuine, I think.
Yeah. And another really great thing about this, the commentary. Like, they got a couple of old veterans of professional wrestling, Matt Striker from the WWE and Vampiro from WCW, and they're both allowed to just relax. And I don't know if anybody's actually doing the pumping information into their ear like they're doing over in the WWE with their announce team.
But I hope not.
Nah, I don't think they are, because it seems like Matt Striker and Vampiro have a lot better chemistry. It feels like they get along. Like, I could actually picture Matt Striker and Vampiro after a taping going out and having a beer together. Could you imagine JBL and Matt and Michael Cole doing something like that?
No.
No,
Nah.
I get the distinct impression that all three of the main commentators hate each other. These two, it feels like they have a really good synergy. They connect very well, and they actually talk about the stuff in the ring.
They also are quite knowledgeable too.
They've both been wrestlers before, and they're both really, really smart. And Vampiro's kind of got a little gimmick about how he's apparently like 800 years old or something like that, which is kind of funny. But they still know the ins and outs of the business very well, and they call a really good match.
It's way better than hearing Maggle and 9.99 and he got it all the time. And
and puppies.
Man, guys, look, I understand the El Rey Network is hard to access, and it's hard to support the show because even though they've promoted merchandise, I can't seem to find any anywhere. But whatever you do, support the show, let your voices be heard, and know that this is something you want more of. I mean, Wednesday is 2 days away, and I can't wait for the next episode of Lucha Underground so I can sit here and stream it and watch it with you two fucks. Right? We would never do that shit with an episode of Raw. Why? Because it's the same shit week after week, month after month, year after year after year after year. It doesn't fucking matter. We wouldn't even do that with the WWE pay-per-views, but if Lucha Underground comes up with a pay-per-view, fuck yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Why? Because Lucha Underground is the fucking best. It's the fucking best, man. It's the fucking best.
Yeah, we find out that the new episode is up. Some people are just waiting patiently. But no. If we see that episode pop up, somebody's going to say, yo, fuckers, stop what you're doing. Lucha Underground. You got about an hour to waste. Let's fucking do it.
Oh, man.
That's pretty much what it is.
I've said it before. I'm a huge old school ECW fan, and this is about as close as you're going to get to like 1997 era ECW, like heyday ECW, with the small crowd and the feel and just the innovation. And oh my God, I love Lucha freaking Underground.
I've loved Lucha Libre ever since I first saw it, like on Mucha Lucha. That's the whole fucking reason I got into wrestling in the first place. So it's a really sweet little full circle kind of thing here because I can show this to my friends and they're just like, nah, man, this is better than that WWE shit. At least you're watching something better now. And I'm like, thank you. This Lucha Underground is truly something special that I think every wrestling fan who is so fucking tired of all this WWE bullshit, just watch an episode or two of Lucha Underground. It is still new. It is still rolling. Let's make this shit popular. Get it on a better network. Have it on a mainstream sort of thing. People will fucking watch it. And if people don't, I will make them watch it because this truly needs to be seen to be believed. We can talk for hours about how good it is, but in the end, you have to watch it. You can probably find it somewhere on like YouTube or Dailymotion, and I guarantee you, you will not fucking be disappointed.
Do it. Do it, you nerds!
All you fucking nerds. By the way, who's your favorite wrestler on the roster, guys?
Wow, we completely forgot that. I'll go after Nicky.
Right now it's Johnny Mundo, but I'll be honest, I'm sort of gravitating towards Angelico. I know that he's kind of new, but like all the stuff that he pulled off last week was just really, really interesting, and he's kind of got a little bit of a swagger to him, and I'm behind Mundo and Angelico.
As I said before the podcast, I still find it hilarious because when I saw Angelico for the first time, I'm just like, yo, either he looks like a dude who belongs like in a BMX video game, or he looks like one of those wrestlers that I created like ages ago with the fucking baseball cap and looking like Youngtown off of YouTube, and then actually doing pretty good wrestling. I mean, like, he looked like the fucking pizza dude just put on some... No, it would have been hilarious if they're just like, and the commentators are just like, yo, he was the pizza dude a while for some of the locker room guys, but then they found out he could wrestle, so he slapped on some fucking tights, and now here he is in Lucha Underground. If they had said that, I would have died, because this guy is fucking good, and it amazes me how fucking casual he looks.
Yeah, he's just got kind of a, yeah, motherfuckers.
Man, there's a lot of really good ones, so I'm just going to list my favorite three right now. Johnny Mundo, for sure, because I've always loved John Morrison. I've loved him in WWE, and I love him in here.
I miss him. He hasn't been on the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, why is that?
Probably because he's going to be on this one!
Woo!
I think also Prince Puma. Now he's the champion and shit. And I feel being the champion in this is a pretty big deal. And I like that he's actually defending and not being like Lesnar, who is the reigning defending bullshit champion or whatever.
Yeah, by the way, there's only one championship in the Lucha Underground. There's no like Intercontinental title in there. So like basically everybody's got to go after the big guy, after the singular guy. And
that's really cool too, because anybody can go for it. Fucking Sexy Star could walk in and possibly win. It is amazing. There's no barriers. Anything fucking goes. And yeah, that's one other big thing I really like about it. As for my third favorites, I don't know, but I really like Drago. And maybe that's just because I've always liked dragons, but when this dude debuted for the first time, I'm like, oh shit, this guy is the real fucking deal. I would also say Chavo.
Chavo would probably be my third, if only because he's, just letting loose and having.
Honestly, I love everybody on this. I really do. Well, except Cortez and Bale and fucking what was his face? Pimpinella and Son of Havoc.
Okay, you can stop.
Yeah, that's
now.
about it.
You're
Okay, there's a
ruining
few people I don't care about, but I
You're
love
ruining
just
it.
about.
You're ruining it. Okay, I am a huge fan of Cage.
Yeah.
I very much like Cage because there's a part of me that's very McMahonish and that really likes the big guys like Ryback or Lesnar or The Undertaker or people like that. Cage fulfills that fantasy for me. He is such a fucking heel, man. I love to boo the guy. He goes right after Prince Puma, beats the shit out of him. He's probably gonna win the championship from Puma, and everyone's gonna hate it. But then some other face like Blue Demon or Johnny Mundo is gonna win it off him, and it's gonna be great, dude. I love Cage. I'm also a big fan of Sexy Star. Even though I don't like her name, you can drop the sexy, please. I hate that shit. But Sexy Star as a wrestler, though, she's great. She has a very, very good mic skill, great dress, fantastic athletic ability, and she's a very good reason for why there should be no, there should be no female-male divisions in wrestling because, yeah, men are stronger. They can lift more weight, but not very many males can do full splits unassisted. So that's really what Sexy Star brings to the table, and I love that. Also a big fan of Drago. His small package pile driver looks like it hurts.
Oh, yeah. Another thing. Yeah. The moves that they do in this, the pile drivers and everything just looks fucking painful. Let me just cite the match between Drago, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. The moves that they pulled out there, about half of them, Vince probably wouldn't even fucking allow, but if you saw them in WWE, they'd be fucking awesome. But here, they look even more awesome. They look like they really fucking hurt, and they look like something out of the video games that you could do that probably would never be able to work, but it works, and it's so fucking cool.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna show. Have you ever heard of the move, the Canadian Destroyer?
Yes.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know what that entails.
Okay. The Canadian Destroyer is an extremely creative move, and it's one of those moves that if you look at it from the right angle, you wonder, okay, how the fuck are they pulling this off? However, it's an extremely dangerous move that WWE would never allow for obvious reasons. For those of you that have never seen the Canadian Destroyer, I'm going to put it up right now. But that is the Canadian Destroyer, and I'm pretty certain you won't even have to think about it for why that shit is banned in WWE. But I can see this happening in Lucha Underground, and that tells you exactly what you need to know about how highly trained these people are and how ambitious these people are, to the fact that they don't get injured after pulling this shit.
Yeah, I saw Phoenix do something like with friggin' Reverse Hurricane Rana on this, and I was like, holy shit, how did his neck not break?
The fucking, 720 splash that Prince Puma does?
If you thought the 450 splash was something impressive.
He's just like, 450? Nah, motherfucker, 720, beat that.
Dude, it was kind of cray. It's kind of cray.
Just a little bit.
Man, the whole roster is so great. The only person on the roster that I really don't like is Phoenix. That's about it. Not a super big fan of Phoenix. I think he blows up too quickly. He doesn't have as much stamina as a lot of the other people. I just love the fact that the old talent puts over the new talent. Like, that's all their point. Like, Chavo Guerrero's only purpose there is to put other people over. That is his only purpose, and he does such a good job at it.
Yeah, like, I doubt that they're going to end up making Chavo the Lucha Underground champion, because who's the guy he was in the ring with? I think it was Blue Demon Jr.
Yeah, he's in a feud with Blue Demon and Sexy Star right now.
Yeah, he was in the ring with Blue Demon Jr., and it looked like he was about to beat the shit out of Demon Jr. with a pair of brass knuckles, and he just got the living crap beaten out of him, and it was helping put Blue Demon Jr. over, and it was really good, and I liked it, and Chavo does a really good job in that company. I like it. It's good.
You know what's funny? I think Chavo Guerrero is the Chris Jericho of fucking Lucha Underground now. If you think about it.
You're totally right.
Sounds about right.
I want Alberto Del Patron to be Cuerto's second right-hand man.
Hey, I just noticed something. I'm on the Wikipedia page for it. Apparently, Chavo is a producer of it.
Oh, that explains
Really?
a lot.
Yeah, Chavo's one of the producers.
Okay, so they still haven't added El Patron to the roster page, which is weird. I don't know.
Ah,
why
I
they
think
haven't.
pretty soon.
Okay, so yeah, it is Dario Cueto. I'm hoping Alberto Del Patron becomes his right-hand man. That
would be
super cool.
interesting, I think.
Alberto Del Rio, or specifically the guy that plays these characters, is a natural-born heel. There is no question about it.
Like he is such a scumbag a-hole.
Yeah, dude. I wanted to pull off a Canadian destroyer.
By the way, I just took a look at that. Holy balls.
Yeah.
Now you see, dude.
That
the
would never happen.
Oh my god. The Canadian destroyer is one of the craziest moves I've ever seen, and I have no idea how you're supposed to land that effectively without breaking the guy's neck.
It's like that. You ever watch what was the movie? Blades of Steel? The one with Will Ferrell and Napoleon Dynamite?
No.
I vaguely remember that.
Okay, there was a scene in there where they were watching like illegal figure skating from North Korea, and there was one move where that was like
that one.
that was
Blades of
supposed to be
Glory.
extremely risky, and the footage they show had the like basically killed the other person involved. But yeah, that's why it kind of reminds me of that kind of shit. Like it should be super illegal, but it's not, and it's awesome.
So I think we've gotten to the point now where, Lucha Underground is seriously one of the best things to ever happen to professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What else can really be said about it at this time, though?
I just really hope that it finds its way onto a more accessible channel, because as it stands right now, El Rey Network just doesn't have the accessibility that a channel like that needs. That's part of the reason why TNA isn't working so well. It's because it's on some channel that I don't even have that channel. Like
Destination
I don't even know if a lot of Destination America. You have to have a pretty like expansive cable package in order to get that, and it's the same for the El Rey Network. If they were to somehow get onto, I don't know, MTV or some other channel that has a larger accessibility. But
also they need to get their merchandise page back up.
Yeah, because I'm like you, I want to get some Lucha Underground swag. But
yeah, dude, come on. All right, I have $100 in my pocket right now, and I'll be like, okay, 2 shirts and a couple of posters I can hang on my wall. We good.
I've got $9.99 that I'm not currently spending on the WWE.
Oh,
dude, I would pay $9.99 a month to get Lucha Underground episodes to download after they air on the El Rey Network. Why are they not? They have to give me this shit. Right now, Lucha Underground's only problem that they're going to have a hard time ironing out is their access problem. They have a massive access problem. It's very similar to HBO. But the difference is that HBO's biggest shows also have a lot of merchandise that they can get, and they don't mind so much that people torrent, because then people will buy the product. But there's no way I can buy the El Rey Network. There's no way I can buy a Lucha Underground streaming service for $10 a month, because I would do that. Unfortunately, they don't have it set up right now.
And that's the other problem with it being all set in one location. You can't go to any Lucha Underground live events unless you live in Boyle Heights, California.
I'm just really happy, though, that despite these things, they are growing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to hire someone like Alberto Del Patron, because that guy commands quite a salary. Same thing with Chavo Guerrero as well. And a lot of other respected luchadors, such as Mascarita. Mascarita Sagrada is very, very highly respected, and they had to shell out a fortune. Well, not a fortune, but they had to shell out quite a bit for that guy. So I'm very excited to see where they come off, and I wish them the best of luck, and hopefully I will be able to throw down some of my hard-earned cash to give them some money, so that way they can grow and become a big powerhouse and be able to travel and do everything that the WWE refuses to do right now. I'm really hoping that they get their shot back up, and man, I can't praise them enough. I can't. I finally found an alternative to Raw that I can get behind.
Same here.
Yeah. When they get that new network, though, whenever they get on a network that's much more accessible, it is on. The Monday Night Wars are back.
You really think so?
Yeah, I really do. I really think...
Dude, as much as I praise Lucha Underground, I don't know if it's going to be on that quality. Even though WWE's in the shitter right now, you got to look at it like realistically. I don't think
they're going to have to get a lot of money before that. If they continue with this growing, it's going to be at least another 5 years.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. The WWE is in such a bad place right now. People are going to start searching for alternatives. And there have been other alternatives that have come and gone, but like Lucha Underground feels like something that can compete with the Monday Night Raw. Maybe if they don't air it on the same night, it'll do even better. But I really want to see what would happen if they get that big channel. I think they could be, at the very least, a solid number 2 alternative. But we'll see how that goes. I just really like where the Lucha Underground is at right now.
We all do, man. We all do. All right. So I think that about takes care of it for this video. Definitely go check out Lucha Underground if you can. And as always,
no. Even if you can't check out Lucha Underground, go check it out.
Do it.
Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.
Lucha. 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 Lucha.